You ever feel like your mornings are stealing more than they're giving? One minute you're sipping coffee and scrolling headlines. Next thing you know, it's noon and your energy's already gone. But what if I told you there's a 500-year-old Japanese breakfast that's been quietly sharpening minds and calming bodies? For generations? It's called Ichiju Sansai. One soup, three sides. Not a recipe, but a ritual. Not about trendy superfoods, but about intentional balance. Since moving back to Japan, I've made this my default every morning. And I'll be honest, it changed my brain. Today, I'll show you why this format works better than toast and coffee, how it supports memory, focus, and digestion, especially as we age, and how you can recreate it, even in a 5-minute American version. So if you're ready to stop chasing energy and start designing it into your breakfast, let's get started. We all have a breakfast story. For some, it's the quiet hum of a coffee maker. For others, it's a buttered toast, eaten while checking the news. But for many of us, especially as the years add up, breakfast has become optional, an afterthought, something rushed or skipped altogether. And yet, in a quiet kitchen on the other side of the world, a different kind of morning has been unfolding for centuries. No rushing, no multitasking, just a bowl of rice, a piece of grilled fish, a warm cup of miso, and two simple sides. It's called Ichiju Sansai, literally, one soup, three dishes. Not a diet plan, not a wellness trend, but a culinary philosophy rooted in balance, intention, and the belief that how we start the day shapes how we live it. This breakfast was designed, not just to fill the stomach, but to nourish the brain, calm the nerves, and set the tone for a focused, centered day. And the more I studied it and lived it, the more I began to wonder. What have we forgotten about the purpose of food? What if breakfast wasn't just about getting through the morning, but about building a better mind for the rest of our life? Let's take a closer look at how this ancient meal powers the modern brain, and why it works so well, especially as we age. Here's something most people don't realize. Your brain is hungry, not just in the poetic sense, but literally. This 3-pound organ consumes about 20% of the energy you eat. That means for every 5 bites of food, one goes straight to your brain. Now here's the catch. Your brain doesn't just want energy, it wants steady energy. Think of it like a light bulb. If the electricity surges, it flickers. If it drops, it dims. And when your breakfast is a sugar-loaded cereal or a piece of white toast, that's exactly what happens. A quick surge, followed by a crash. The result? Foggy thinking, short attention, low energy by mid-morning. But Ichiju Sansai was built differently. It's not a plate, it's a blueprint. First, the rice. Not just plain white rice, but mixed grains, slow-digesting carbs that release glucose gradually. That means more stable blood sugar, and by extension, more stable focus. Next comes the protein: fish, tofu, eggs, each one packed with amino acids, the raw materials your brain uses to make neurotransmitters. Think serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, the chemistry of mood, memory, and motivation. Then there are the healthy fats, like the omega-3s in mackerel or the sesame oil in the salad. These don't just fuel your brain, they build it. Omega-3s are structural. DHA strengthens brain cell membranes. EPA reduces inflammation, which scientists now link to cognitive decline. And we can't forget the fermented foods, like miso or pickled vegetables. They don't just support digestion, they support the gut-brain axis, the silent two-way street where your microbiome influences mood, clarity, and even sleep. Add in a variety of colorful plants, and suddenly, you're feeding your brain a full-spectrum orchestra. Glucose for fuel, protein for signal, fats for structure, microbes for balance, and antioxidants for protection. No spikes, no crashes, just steady clarity. But this wasn't accidental. There's a reason this structure has lasted for centuries, and it has everything to do with Japanese culture. Let's look at the genius behind its design. In the West, we often think of food in terms of nutrition or flavor. Calories. Protein. Sweet or salty. But in Japan, food has always meant more than that. It's about harmony. Ichiju Sansai isn't just a meal, it's a cultural blueprint. Its roots stretch back to the Heian period, over 1,000 years ago, where Buddhist monks practiced mindful eating as part of their daily rituals. They believed every meal should reflect balance between flavors, textures, colors, and nutrients, and more importantly, balance between the self and the world. One soup, 3 dishes. Simple, intentional, symmetrical, a visual metaphor for life and equilibrium. Even the layout of the meal reflects this. Each item placed with care, no part overshadowing another. Grains for energy, vegetables for life, protein for strength, fermentation for patience, soup for warmth. And none of it, none, designed to overwhelm. There's a word in Japanese, teine. It means with care, with respect. That's how this meal is prepared. And eaten. Not on the go, not in the car, but seated. With attention. With quiet gratitude. It's no surprise that Japan has one of the highest life expectancies in the world, and perhaps it starts with something as humble as how they begin the day. You see, Ichiju Sansai isn't just good for your body. It's a reminder that even in chaos, we can choose order. Even in rush, we can choose ritual. And for me, that choice came at a time when I needed it most. Let me take you back. To the morning everything started to shift. A few years ago, I hit a wall. I had just moved back to Japan after years of fast-paced city life in the US new house. New business. A young family. On paper, it looked like I had it all together. But inside, I was foggy, scattered, tired. All the time. I chalked it up to stress, jet lag, parenthood. But the truth was simpler and harder to admit. I was running on empty. Most mornings, I'd wake up late, grab a coffee, maybe a banana. Sometimes just skip breakfast altogether. Then around 10 a.m., I'd feel it. The crash, the irritability, the confusion, the creeping feeling that my mind wasn't keeping up. One morning, I sat down with my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Sato. She's 82. Sharp as a tack. Gardens every morning. She placed in front of me a small tray. Rice, miso, grilled fish, pickled radish, steamed greens. It's nothing fancy, she smiled, but it gives me what I need. I remember eating it slowly, feeling warm, anchored, clear. It wasn't just the food, it was the feeling, a sense of rhythm, a sense of enough. That was the morning I decided, maybe I couldn't control the chaos of the world, but I could control how I started my day. So I began building my mornings around Ichiju Sansai. Not perfectly, not always traditionally, but with the same foundation: one soup, 3 sides, balance, intention, respect. And within a week, something shifted. No more fog by 10 a.m., no more jittery highs followed by sluggish lows. Just focus, calm, and, maybe for the first time in years, clarity. So what exactly makes this breakfast so powerful? Let's break it down, one element at a time. So what exactly made that breakfast feel so different? It wasn't one superfood. It was the synergy between them, 5 simple elements, working together like instruments in an orchestra. Let's break it down. 1. Slow-burning carbs for steady fuel. At the center of every Ichiju Sansai meal is rice, but not just white rice. Often it's mixed with barley, millet, or black rice. These grains are rich in fiber and resistant starch, which slow digestion and stabilize blood sugar. That means no more mid-morning crashes, just a gentle rise and a sustained release of energy, perfect for clear thinking and stable moods. 2. Quality protein for brain chemistry. Whether it's grilled fish, tofu, or a soft-boiled egg, protein plays a critical role. It's not just for muscle, it's the source of amino acids your brain uses to build neurotransmitters. Think of it like this. Protein is how your body builds focus, memory, and even motivation. And for older adults, It also supports muscle preservation and blood sugar balance. 3. Healthy fats for structure and stability. In many Ichiju Sansai meals, fats come from oily fish like mackerel or from sesame-based dressings. These provide omega-3 fatty acids, critical for brain cell membranes and reducing inflammation. Especially for those of us over 50, omega-3s have been shown to support cognitive longevity and even protect against age-related decline. 4. Fermented or fibrous foods for gut-brain support. Enter miso soup, pickled veggies, or natto. These aren't just side dishes, they're microbiome boosters. Fermented foods increase the good bacteria in your gut, which influences digestion, immunity, and brain health via the gut-brain axis. More balance in your gut. More balance in your mind. 5. Colorful plants for antioxidants and vitality. No Ichiju Sansai is complete without vegetables. Greens like mizuna, radish, or seaweed bring in antioxidants, minerals, and phytonutrients. Think of them as internal protectors, guarding your cells from stress, aging, and inflammation. Now here's the beautiful part. You don't need to cook all 5 components every morning. Even 2 or 3 of these, done intentionally, can reshape your entire morning experience. Because the power isn't in perfection, it's in balance. And that balance doesn't have to come in a bento box. Let me show you how this ancient wisdom translates beautifully to a Western kitchen. Now I get it. Not everyone has the time or the ingredients for grilled mackerel and miso soup at 7 a.m. We live busy lives. Some of us are caring for grandkids, managing health appointments, or just trying to get out the door. But here's the good news. Ichiju Sansai isn't about Japanese food. It's about food with balance. And that balance, you can build it anywhere. Let's take a look at a Western version. Carb, whole grain toast or steel-cut oats. Protein, a couple of eggs, Greek yogurt, or even cottage cheese. Healthy fats, a spoonful of peanut butter, some avocado, or olive oil in your eggs. Fermentation, a few bites of sauerkraut, kimchi, or a glass of kefir. Plants, spinach, berries, tomato slices, or even a handful of arugula. Boom, that's the framework. 1 soup, 3 sides. Translated, it's not about perfection, it's about asking, what does my body need to stay steady today? Let me give you a real example from my own morning. 1 slice of whole grain toast, drizzled with olive oil. 2 soft-boiled eggs for protein. A side of sautéed kale with garlic. And a spoonful of fermented carrots I made last weekend. Took less than 10 minutes. Kept me focused till noon. And most importantly, it felt intentional. You can even build a grab-and-go version. A protein smoothie with greens, almond butter, and yogurt. A boiled egg. A piece of fruit. And a small side of pickled veggies or probiotic drink. No need for a stove. No need for a perfect plate. Just 5 mindful components adapted to your life. Because wisdom doesn't belong to one culture, and balance isn't bound to one cuisine. And the older I get, the more I've come to believe. Balance doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, for those of us over 50, it's never been more important or more powerful. Let's be honest, there's a lot of pressure out there. One article says, go vegan. Another says, eat more protein. One expert says, skip breakfast. Another swears it's the most important meal of the day. But here's what I've learned, especially after turning 50. Perfect doesn't last. But balance endures. When we're younger, we can push through on coffee and willpower. But as we age, our bodies ask for something different. Stability, rhythm, care. And Ichiju Sansai offers just that. It's not a crash diet. It's not a complicated protocol with a dozen supplements and a kitchen full of gadgets. It's simple, repeatable, forgiving. You don't need to cook a 5-part meal every day. You don't need the exact Japanese ingredients. You just need to remember the framework. A steady carb, a quality protein, a source of healthy fat, something fermented or fibrous, and a bit of color from plants. Even if you only include 3 of those on a given morning, you're already doing more than most. Because it's not about doing everything, it's about doing something with intention. And when that something becomes a rhythm, it starts to shape the rest of your day. How clearly you think, how calmly you respond, how energized you feel when it's time to show up, for work, for loved ones, or simply for yourself. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the health advice out there, start here, with one meal, with one small act of balance. Because sometimes building a better life doesn't start with a big change, it starts with a better morning. Let me show you how to begin. We've covered the science, we've seen the tradition, we've broken it down into steps. But now, it's your turn. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a Japanese kitchen. All you need is a few quiet minutes and a choice to begin your day with intention. Start small. A bowl of oats with yogurt and berries. A slice of toast with avocado and egg. A side of fermented veggies from the farmer's market. Or maybe just a cup of warm broth and a moment to breathe. Whatever it looks like for you, let it be yours. Let it support you. Let it serve as a gentle reminder that every morning is a chance to nourish more than your body. It's a chance to fuel your clarity, your calm, your life. So now I want to hear from you. What's one change you could make to your mornings this week? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more frameworks like this, simple, science-backed, and doable, I share a free weekly email with recipes and insights. The link's below. And if you'd like to see what this looks like in a 5-minute Western breakfast, check out the next video. I'll walk you through it step by step. Because in the end, this isn't about one meal. It's about creating a life that feeds you, from the very first bite